it's Demon here, and today we are doing a video on the Roundtable and their new review on Adventure Time. They did it a review slash like versus sort of thing where they versed it between regular show and Adventure Time. And I'll be honest here, I haven't really watched regular show. I have not watched the season finale of regular show. I've watched a couple episodes, and what I have watched, I don't really enjoy it. But I just have some views on the things that they were saying about Adventure Time that differ from theirs. So that's what I'm going to mainly talk about. I'm going to talk about Adventure Time. It's the only thing I'm going to talk about, actually. And I'm going to say why I think they're wrong in some situations and why I think they might be right in some situations. And I don't remember exactly everything they say, so I might get some things wrong. And of course, I might misconstrue some things they say. But for the most part, I'm just going to say my personal opinions on these things that they said were wrong or something like that. I'm going to say my personal opinions. They have their personal opinions. I have my personal opinions. So let's start this off with all due respect, obviously. So first off, we are going to do the dream sequence. They said that the dream sequence was filler, if I'm not mistaken. Which I can agree with to a certain extent, that the dream sequence was sort of filler. To a certain extent, it was sort of filler. But for the most extent, it was not filler. It was a method to stop the war from actually happening, which I am personally sad about because I really wanted to see those rogue gallery fight Finn, Jake, Marceline, stuff like that. I'm personally sad that we didn't get to see that, but you know, we have to get what we get. But basically, they said it was filler, and it was kind of filler, but for the most part, it wasn't filler. It was just another way for Finn to stop the war because he did not want it to happen. That's in my personal opinion, and it was really nice looking. It was really nice looking. It finally got to Finn and Fern's kind of ultimate ending, and it was kind of lackluster, to be honest. But at the end, Finn and Fern do find a way to stop the evil grass demon. And Bonnie and Gumball do finally feel each other's pain. Because in candy form you can only act like a fool, but you still have your intelligence. So it's very interesting to see this thing, and I think it was a very well done thing, but they said it was just filler. I don't agree with that. I think it was a very well done and placed thing, because we need to use that vial for something. And then the next one is, why did Aunt Lolly trip Gumball and make him back into a stupid bean? And for this one, I had to watch this one a couple times. I'll be honest, I had to watch Adventure Time, the season finale, a couple times just because it was so enjoyable. And plus, I was confused on a couple parts. And this is one of the parts I was personally confused on. And this is what I took away from it after I watched it a couple times. So, I think this is what happened. I think Gumball had that vial in his pocket because he was going to use it on Bonnabelle when she got too close. He was going to use it and make her stupid because he was still evil. He was still set in his ways. His ways were set in stone. He was still going to use it on her even after the dream sequence. He was just like, I don't care what the dream sequence did. I'm still going to use this on you. I don't think peace was ever an option for him. But I think Aunt Lolly saw that peace was an option, and she knew that Gumball was going to do something like this, and that's why she tripped him and basically made him turn stupid again. That's what I think was going to happen. And I think PB kind of realized that at the end, and that's why she was just like, what? It wasn't like a what because Aunt Lolly tripped him and turned him stupid. I think it was a what because he had that thing in his pocket, and she like realized like he was going to use it on me, that fucking asshole. So that's what I think was going to happen. I think Gumball was going to be evil again and use it on her. But Aunt Lolly saw that was going to happen and knew that Gumball wanted, and knew that Princess Bubblegum wanted peace. So that's why she tripped him and basically made peace with Princess Bubblegum. Because that's just the way I think it happened. And plus, I think Aunt Lolly was the most sensible out of all of them in the first place. So that's what I think was happening there. It was very confusing scene, but I think that's what happened. At least that's what my personal deduction was. And then the next one is Gulb. They said that Golb wasn't really a good ending villain, and what he did wasn't really good, and that they should have brought back the Lich. And I completely agree with this. Golb was not a very good ending villain to a certain extent. He wasn't really meant to be a villain, and they even said that he was more like supposed to be like a force, and he is like a force. He's a force of nature, and I actually like Golb's part in this. He's a force of nature. He got brought there by Betty and Normal Man and also Maja because Betty wanted to harness his power to get back Simon. So he was brought there. They had a good explanation why he was brought there. But he didn't really do much because he's a force in nature. He just wants to destroy things. He wants to, destroy things. He's just like the Lich. And then they said, well, they should have brought the Lich back, which I completely agree with. I completely agree that they should have brought the Lich back. The Lich had a very crappy ending plot line to what I personally think. He had a very crappy ending plot line in Adventure Time. At least he got an ending plot line, unlike some things. Fiona and Cake. But he had a very crappy ending plot line. But in this, I feel like they could have brought back Jake's Lich hand from a different dimension, or maybe turn Sweet Pea into the Lich, because obviously Gulb's there, so he could have been like, "Oh, you're back into the Lich, I'm back into this," and then could you imagine the Lich? The Lich is really powerful already, but could you imagine how much more powerful he would be because Gulb's there powering him up? And it would have been a really epic fight to see Finn finally defeating the Lich properly instead of just getting kind of this cheap ending for the Lich. It would have been really cool to see Finn just finally defeating the Lich properly. And plus, it would have brought up so much things that I wanted to see. I wanted to see Marceline's reaction to the Lich, Hunter and Abadir's reaction to the Lich. I wanted to see a few other people's reaction to the Lich, if I can remember their names. I can't really remember their names. Hell, maybe even Fiona and Cake reaction to the Lich. I don't know. But it would have been really cool to see the Lich come back and actually fight, and Finn would finally have to put an end to him with his brand new sword, which was not there. What the hell happened to your sword, dude? Maybe you could have got out of Gaul better if you had that sword, because it was enchanted by the Nidosphere. I doubt it, but it would have been better if he had a sword, because it's a war. Why didn't he bring a sword? But whatever. But that's what I think about Golb. I thought Golb was a really cool thing, and he was like a force of nature. But they could have done better, and I think they should have brought the Lich back. So I totally agree that they should have brought the Lich back and have Golb as like a background character just controlling the scenes. And then the next one is Betty. They said that Betty didn't really like have an emotional, like, I don't know if they meant like emotional send-off or anything, but didn't really have like a good send-off, that they didn't really care about it, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, but I completely disagree with that, because Betty, sorry about that brief interruption, but as I was saying, Betty had a really great send-off. They said that it wasn't really good because we never really got to know Betty as a character, and I completely agree with that. We should have had more episodes with Betty in it, and to get to know her more as a character, where it slowly led to madness, and then freaking just obsession with Simon. We could have had like a really cool storyline with that, and we did have a semi-good storyline with that, but in all, I think this send-off for her was really good. It's kind of like a tragic lover's tale. It's almost like a Romeo and Juliet-esque tale. So, basically, she sacrificed herself to save her lover. And it's a really tragic tale. Really tragic, and we just have to feel bad for Simon. You know, you have to feel bad for Simon because we needed him to get that lover. He finally got to see her lover's... fudge. I'm just gonna blank that out because you don't need to see what that is. But yeah, we never really get to see like this lovers thing, and they said they were kind of confused why Betty and Simon turned back to their original forms and why the crown turned back to original form. Golb, when you go inside Golb, he breaks you down back to your original forms, like into the base material. He breaks you down back into your original forms. So yeah, that's what happened there. It's kind of confusing, but like Golb basically makes you back to what you originally were. So I think if Finn would have had the robot arm, he probably would have lost that arm or something like that. I'm surprised Golb didn't make him regrow an arm which is kind of weird. But I guess whatever. I guess Finn was already original form, so maybe that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, Betty had like this really tragic ending for a character that I think we needed more time with, but a really tragic ending and a really tragic love story if you think about it. Really tragic. Her boyfriend goes mad. Then she tries to save him. She goes mad herself. Then she turns into an obsession. And then eventually they get to meet up again and get to share a few last words and a few last kisses. And then she has to go away and turn herself into Gulb. It's actually really sad, and it's a really good ending. This is my personal opinion. I think that her ending was one of the best, and it's like, I wish movies could come up with plot lines this good. Then we have Finn and Jake. Why weren't Finn and Jake in this enough? I think it's because it was more based around the other characters, and it wanted to give everybody a final send-off. And I do agree that Finn and Jake should have been in it more and should have had a bigger role in it. But I also like that it was based around the other characters, and they wanted to give everybody a proper send-off. And I think Finn did get a couple good lines in here, especially when he was in Gulb's stomach. He's just like, I always thought I would die doing like something heroic for somebody. And Jake was like, oh, this is for you, bud. And it was pretty cool. And at the end, Jake kind of freaks out, and it's kind of cool like that, too. But it's really cool to see that. And I do think they wanted to focus on all the other characters as well, like Marceline and Bubblegum's relationship. Just throwing this out there, I hope Finn gets a threesome. Okay, that's a bad joke. Although it's true. But anyways, like, I think they should have focused a little bit more on their main protagonist, but they didn't, and they focused on everybody not equally, I would say. I'd say they focused on Bubblegum the most, and then maybe Marceline. Oh, wait, Bubblegum, Finn, Marceline, Jake. I would say something like that. I would say I would line up something like that. And then at the end, they showed a bunch of old characters, which is pretty cool. But they never showed Finn hooking up with Huntress Wizard. That sucks. But yeah, all in all, I think it was a really good episode. I think it was a really good ending to this show. As I said, I've never seen regular times ending. Never seen it once. And I do think Finn and Jake should have had a bigger role, but they didn't. I don't rate the show, sadly. And I do think the Lich should have been in there, but it wasn't. But anyways, all in all, really good show. I don't disagree with everything they say. I just disagree with some things. And that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you liked this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, my friends, stay sane. Peace. Hey guys, D-Man here. Just saying, hope you liked this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and all that nonsense. But anyways, I hope you have a good day, because, you know, the video's over. And I hope you watch more videos. Go ahead and click these videos or click subscribe, you know. See ya.